Well, thanks for seeing me on such short notice. Got a nice office here. It's nice and cozy. I kind of like it. But anyways, I know we are kind of on time here, so I guess I should start introducing I'm Tanner McNally, and um, have done furry news for a bit, write articles, things like that. But also, obviously, I'm a character. This is a character. This is a persona, they call it. Um, Basically a persona. It's not really me. The real me is a human being who has a 9 to 5 and all that stuff. And I wanted to talk a little bit about that, mostly in the fact of like, where are all these videos? It's been since April since you made a video. I'm sure a lot of people in my audience would like to know that kind of a thing. So I wanted to talk about that in essence. I've got to say, I have not been not busy, but I have been a little under the emotional stress, a little emotional thing. Not like really negative, but like the whole like you could be doing more, and that's, I think, the curse of cognition is that you think about all the what ifs and all the things and all the time and the things that you sacrifice for things. And one of the interesting things in the real world is that there's this weird dichotomy between time and money. And for most people who are not gifted or born with a silver spoon in their mouth or whatever, you're going to have to make decisions that impact your time and your money and trying to balance those things out. Some people balance it in time. In fact, in the factor of time is that their time is very precious to them. They spend their time with friends, with family, being part of a community and coalescing, and other people focus on a little bit more of the money and security. And the interesting thing is that the dynamic, no matter what you do, naturally leads you to being more isolated, because people, when you interact with people in time of money, like it takes time away from learning and doing things, and it also takes money sometimes if you want to go have a drink with them, or if you want to go to the movies with them, or if you want to do something. It's going to take some of that resource because you have to entertain each other, and that entertainment can cost money in certain aspects, whether it's subscription fees or going to the movies or going to an amusement park or whatever. There's that aspect of time and of money to interact with that as a thing. Or you can just interact with them and hang out at their house. Like, that's the cheapest thing you can do, and sometimes it's the most fulfilling thing you can do. It's that balance. And unfortunately for me, and this is the kind of thing, is I am a workaholic, and I kind of joke that I'm a functional workaholic, like a functional alcoholic, in that, like, I'm able to work, but I haven't had much in burnout or evidence of burnout. But this is where it all comes down to, is that the reason that I haven't been posting a lot on Flera, on my furry news site, and the reason that I haven't been posting videos is because something's got to burn out. If you're juggling multiple roles and multiple things at the same time, what you end up finding out is that one of the things that you cared for is going to get sacrificed on the lamb when the other things start pushing in. And unfortunately, because of this capitalism, or more like corporatism, your time is going to go where your money goes. And sadly, in that sort of perverse motivating thing, it is perverse in many ways, shape, and form. I feel like it creates this sort of situation where it's like, okay, I do enjoy doing this furry news thing, but it doesn't pay the bills. What pays the bills is me doing the thing. And unfortunately, recently, starting about a year ago, my work gave me this monstrous project. This very like, you're working on a nationwide project that has a lot of interconnectivity between this customer and other customers, and those customers will communicate with each other to make sure the data is correct. And like, there's like this aspect where the one customer doesn't communicate all that well, is very slow to communicate. So when they have a problem, it's from 6 months ago, and now you've got to implement all that problem backlog into the backlog of all the stuff you worked on in a prior thing, and revamp the process, and but you still have to manually review all that stuff in the past. And as time has gone on, the amount of work that's in front of me is still as high as it always has been, and to maintain it still takes as much time as it has been. But now I'm also doing analysis on things that were done 6 months ago at the same time, so I have to kind of juggle keeping things moving in the present while trying to figure out where we messed up in the past. And as you can know, that can be extremely stressful. And so I've been focusing on that for the past year. I've been putting in, 50 to 60 hours a week ish. And that's like that. And some people might go, that's not too much. Like some people who are in unfortunate circumstances where their time is really squeezed for all it's worth, particularly in America, 50 to 60 hours isn't that bad. But when you're talking about like wanting to have quality in your work and pushing yourself to look into the data and look at all that stuff, eventually you get tired of it. And eventually, like, even though you're spending 60 hours on it, you're effectively spending 30, like, because you're trying so hard to get it, quote unquote, get it done. You're using the least effective methods of getting it done, and you're not, my customer's bad at communicating, and I'm not the greatest either. So it's not like I'm going like, I need help with this, and this is how we're going to do it, because I'm trying to analyze and do all this stuff and figure it out. And as I said, it's a lot, and doing that and doing the furry news thing, I kind of couldn't really do it, because like, sadly, it's this weird thing where I'm spending the weekends in my life similar to when I was younger and did not have a job. Like, I was unemployed. I had employment for 6 months, but then I was unemployed for another 6. And during that time of unemployment, I had a lot of time on my hands, but I didn't have a lot of money. So I kind of shelled off and was kind of like depressed in a way. And like, the days would just kind of flow by. And the interesting thing is that that's what's happening on my weekends now. And even during my work days, honestly. It's like, I've got this goal. Here's the things I'm going to get done today. And then the day's done before I even blink or think. And I got done like just my standard stuff and not like any of the additional stuff that I've got to do. And because of that, I spend the weekends, like, I have a work from home station now, and I finally separated it from this like VR / living room station, where I have in my old office that I used to record videos on. Like, it's all in there. It's all in that. But I bring the laptop home to do work, and lo and behold, here I am talking to you when I should be working. And that is, by the way, toxic workaholism. That's when it's getting to the point where it's like, okay, you're having these things, you're having these goals, you're putting a lot of work ethic into it. But if it gets to the point where you feel multiple things, you feel a anger and resentment towards your colleagues for living their life, right? Feeling like, I'm the only one here after hours, and I'm the only one here working the weekends, and I'm like, even though technically, and this is the only thing that keeps me like really abiding in this particular job, is that my boss does work constantly. And unfortunately, that's kind of the problem, is because Like he's bogged down in all of his own stuff that like he would love to help out and try to analyze and do the things and try to fix my project as well, but he's got his own big project that is a pain in the butt to fix too. So he's spending all of his time on it, and he doesn't have any leeway to help me get out of my rut. And basically everybody, like this small cluster of people in the office, have no free time to do solutions. And so I'm not that resentful. Like obviously I can get resentment, but it's interesting because like we've outsourced some of our work, and to some of those people that are outsourced, it's like sometimes it feels like they're treated better than I'm treating myself, or the company's treating me, or whatever. And so you can feel a sort of resentment about that. And that's when it's toxic, right? That's when the workaholism gets like bad, because then it's like you're angry and you're frustrated. It's like, I can get through this, but it's like you're not getting through it. And you start feeling guilty about doing hobbies or hanging out with friends and family, because you could be getting this thing that needs to get done, and like it should have been done a month ago. It should have been figured out 3 months ago. But you haven't made any progress on it because you're still treading water on trying to keep your company happy, and on top of keeping the customer happy, and all this stuff is going through your brain, and you're not paying attention to what's in front of you. You're not paying attention to your friends. You're not paying attention to your family. You're not paying attention to people who enjoy the things that you enjoy, and you're not finding enjoyment in those things because like you're kind of feeling like you're killing time. And even worse, it's like you become more susceptible to things like the just one more YouTube short or just one more TikTok thing. You get used to flipping through, and it's like, oh, they're short, like little time commitments, and they don't require like an hour's worth of thing. Because like the interesting thing is like, as soon as you look at content, it's like, oh, it's 1 hour long. Like I could be using that hour to do this. Like if it's like oh, well, this is a 1 minute video. All right, that's a 1 minute video. That's a 1 minute video. That's 1 minute. You get to the point where it's like, oh, well, now an hour has gone by anyway. And so that's the kind of weird thing about why these kind of like little things trick you, and you become susceptible to other sort of weird addictions. And luckily, I'm not much of a drinker. Luckily, I'm not much of a person who uses drugs. If I was, then absolutely this sort of workaholism could bleed into those kind of other addictions. But now it's sort of like this sort of social media addiction, right? It's sort of a social media addiction kind of a thing. So like if I were to like a scale of like 9, like 1 to 9, like workaholism is a freaking 9. Like social media is probably about a 6 or a 7, and like everything else, like usually the usual suspects like drugs and alcohol are like a 1. It's 0 to 1, because obviously anyone can get addicted to anything if they go for it too long. But and trying to maintain a money balance or whatever, or trying to maintain or get money or maintain money or whatever. Obviously that's probably about a 4 or a 5. It's one of those things where it's like one can be too successful in their life, and you kind of think about where you go from there. Like where do I go from here? Because it's like, I think one of the interesting things, and the reason that depression has sort of come back, is because I always had a goal to focus on, and that was getting out of debt. So, and this sounds weird, and if I were to tell anyone other than you as a therapist, I'm sure the whole world would be like, what are you complaining about? So I have, like, this year and around around the beginning of Q2, that's how you know I'm a work addict, because I'm using quarters now and talking in quarters. No, like April-ish, right around when the eclipse happened. I had gotten out of debt. I finally did the thing that I had kind of set out in my mind to do since my mid-20s. Like, I'm mid-20s. I'm like, this debt thing is nasty. I want to get out of it because I want all these monkeys off my back. And so the goal was debt free before 40. And lo and behold, at the age of 39, if I really, really pushed it, I probably could have gotten out a lot faster. But I did like go like, okay, you can leave yourself a little cushion, an emergency fund, and all that. Don't push too hard. So I did. I succeeded at paying off. So the house that I have is now my house in full. There's nobody who owes. There's nobody I owe money to it. The death, as the letter in the mail that I received, the death pledge is satisfied. And I wish my fingers would work actively so it doesn't look like I'm flipping you off, but because I'm not. I have this weird thing where my fingers don't work right for some reason. Just a weird twitch, I guess. But like, I'm done. Now I know 99.999% of furries out there who are, notoriously bad with money would be like, oh, such a bad complaint. It's like, the reality is that you're never fully done. And that's the thing. It's like, even if here's the thing, I fully paid off my house, but I still have to pay insurance on the thing. I still have to pay property taxes on the thing, and even with that, about $500 to $600 a month for where I live, which is still like great. Like anyone would kill to have like, oh, I can live somewhere for like $500 to $600 a month, and it's particularly a house that has like 2 bedrooms / 1 bathroom / like any plot of land would be great, would be wonderful, would be stupendous. And so it's like, but the interesting thing is that there's this sort of psychology that went with paying off this debt, and I can see why debt can be addictive now, because I had something to focus on. It's like I bought this thing and now I have to pay it off. So, like, it gives you motivation to work because you have this thing coming in telling you have to pay it every so once and so often. So now it's like I want to work just as hard as I normally have just to get this thing done, but at the same time, I think in my mind, and this is something in the back of my mind, it's like, what's the worst they can do? Fire me? I don't have those motivations of like, oh, I have somebody at home to worry about, or oh, I have something today. So if I get fired, it's like, okay, well, due to me having a emergency fund, I can basically sit a year or 2 in my life and do absolutely jack all. So if they want to fire me, let it be, I guess. But then it would be kind of like, how would I react to that? Would I be fine? Would I not be fine? I don't know. And that sort of like is one of the reasons why it's like these weekends are going by and I'm not doing anything, because it's like I feel guilty because it's like I've got a lot of stuff to do and I could be using the other computer to try to move ahead in this Chutes and Ladders game that I'm playing at work, of like moving ahead 5 steps. Oh, this random thing happened and now you've got to resolve this issue. And even though you thought you were close to the end of getting this thing done, now you're all the way back to the beginning. It's random, and it's like I'm trying to make it not as random as possible. I'm trying to, use our technology and tools to try to make it so that we can get ahead of these issues that the customer's finding. But I have to spend my time trying to get some of this back end stuff done before I can do that. And it's like, at this point, it's like I'm going to do what I can do, but I can't do it anymore. And that's kind of why I'm here today instead of there for once. And that's why I kind of also, in my latest thing, has been like, I'm trying to do, like, if I go to a furry convention or if I go to a place, I'm trying to teach nonfiction, because my time, it's like I'm in my midlife at this point. Like, what's the next generation look like? And I've seen some of it, and I think it's really good. A lot of it's video based, a lot of it's YouTube videos, but at the end of the day, is YouTube a stable platform? Like, it's not an in-house furry platform. And videos, by the way, are some of the worst ways to discern information to people. Like, you literally, in order to get the nuggets of wisdom, you have to sit and listen to somebody for multiple minutes. And right after this break and right after this commercial, and let's talk about this thing, and let's talk about our today's sponsor, and blah, 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 blah. Like, you've got to go through and, like, look through things and skip and move, and it's very inconvenient. So, like, there are good people, though. Like, for instance, this avatar that I have put on, right? This is the base of it's called the Wallaby, right? And I got it at, for Ferality. I found the base at Ferality's Dealer's Den. And, I was like, you know what? You've got money. Freaking throw him some money and get a base and start to learn this kind of thing. And maybe you can customize it to what you need. And I was able to do that. And the reason I was able to do that is because the creator of this avatar had a nice PDF that said, here's some of the steps that you do. And he has a YouTube video series list that goes through it and does it. And by the way, seeing sometimes does better than viewing in certain things when you're doing like things. So having both is great. And he had both. He had a physical PDF file that you could read through, and he had a video series that you could do at the same time. And it was great because I was able to go, okay, I've never done something like this before. And he also found me the tools that was not Photoshop, because I don't have Photoshop to create, to be able to do this sort of thing. And he didn't go into the details on how to use the tool, but I stumbled around in it for a bit, and I used 3 coloring tools, and those 3 coloring tools were able to get me just what I needed for this. It took me probably longer than most people who are experienced with it. And I could obviously pay the money to do stuff like that. And that's something I got to get used to doing, is instead of trying to learn to do things myself, using the free time that I have in order to have trust in others to do it for me. And I think that's one of the, and that's the thing where your therapist dollars are probably going to go, ha, I found the problem. Is that you don't trust other people to do things. So you keep everything to yourself, and all this, you do all these projects for yourself, you do all these things for yourself, you post, you edit, you do the thing, you barely edit, let's face facts. you post, you do the things, you submit the videos, you do the thing. You don't trust anybody, even the AI. You're AI, you're AI's dumb, but it is. The AI is dumb. I'm sorry. The AI is stupid. Okay? It is dumb. The AI is stupid. And I think the thing that really ticked me off and really broke the wind out of my sails for the current company I'm working for is when my CEO did his public spiel and was talking AI, and I'm you're gonna try to replace us with AI. Okay. Well, that means if I work really hard and get things done, well, the AI will take all the credit. It was the technology. It was don't pay attention to the man behind the curtain who's actually throwing the switches. It's the AI. The AI did all the work. Everything's fine. The AI did all the freaking work. The AI did it. Yes, it wasn't the people sitting at the freaking desks pushing the freaking buttons. It was the AI the whole time. Yeah. And it's to the CEO, it's what the heck, man? You okay, so you're a well-read person. Artificial intelligence is coming. Yes. But it's what? They said, oh, well, these truck drivers, these truck drivers have to watch out, man. They have to watch out. These AI is coming for their jobs. And it's really? Really? When is it coming for their jobs? You've been saying this since what? 2017? It is now the year of our Lord, 2024. And guess who is still driving all the trucks? So how long is it going to take for the AI to figure out how to solve the problems that we haven't even solved yet? And you're expecting me to solve while trying to maintain everything that we normally do and maintaining the assembly line and keeping it going while at the same time trying to develop solutions because, because I've got to do the job of 7 people because that's what technology has created the expectation for. And now, like, the AI is going to be like, I'm going to give you an answer, and it's probably going to be garbage. So you've got to do your due diligence and look up what I looked up, use my thing as a springboard, and hope that that springboard didn't land you face first into the ground like a Roo on a trampoline. Am I right? You've seen that video of the Roo on the trampoline. It doesn't go well. You can't add bounce to bounce. If you add bounce to bounce, it goes wee. It goes freaking wee, and you freaking flat on your face. It's not great. What I'm saying is, it's like, it's just like it doesn't get easier. And that's the thing about the world is that there's always something to solve, and sometimes that thing you have to solve is yourself, and that's why you need to sometimes talk to a therapist, even if you can't afford to, even if you don't think you should, even if you got all this other things going on. Maybe I should actually go to an actual therapist instead of talking at a pseudo camera pretending that it's therapy. But I just wanted to let my audience know, breaking the fourth wall here, what's been going on and why they haven't been seeing many videos lately. There's plenty to talk about. The fandom continues to grow. Furry Week in Atlanta happened, and it was a record for them. They're technically the second largest furry convention in the world over Anthrocon until Anthrocon happens this weekend, which Anthrocon has been saying, oh man, it's going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot of people. There's going to be a lot of people. And I'm like, that's why I'm not going. I've been to Anthrocon. I've seen it. I would rather let other people enjoy it and kind of take the time to kind of just do other things. Even though it's like you could afford it, but but will I enjoy it? And that's the thing. It's like I've been through the parade. I've done all that stuff. It's like I've had my time, and like there's plenty of places for other people to be, right? Just take up space, as it were. I think my time and my efforts are better spent elsewhere, and that's the whole workaholism thing, right? Because like I'm just gonna go there and I'm gonna sit in the hotel room or look at a few panels, which I can learn about stuff online and stuff like that. So is it worth the time? Is it worth the time and the money to go down there? You've seen your share of furry conventions. That's why I really enjoyed Furality this year, honestly, and I'm just gonna do a video on that because it was something interesting and new. And it inspired me to find a kangaroo character, and hi, I have an avatar now-ish. I still got to clean up a little bit, like some of the colorations, like on my shoulder here. You can see it's a little messed up. I'm pointing it out for you, so I fix it at some point. But I'm here, and it works, so it is what it is. But this has been a great help, so thank you for listening in on this Roo Ramble, literally this time. And if you like, wait. This is a YouTube video the whole time. Kick the like, kick the subscribe button, kick a comment in the comment section. Maybe someday I'll have clothes. And I'm really bearing myself to my therapist here, guys. I really am. It's incredibly crazy. Anyways, I'm going to get the hop out of here, and we'll talk in the future on something else. So have a good day. I'm gonna get out of here, get the hop out of this office, and get back to work. Get back to work. Yeah, that's fine. This is fine. Anyways, see you guys.